Welcome back to part 18 of the series where I talk about a specific family branch of mine, go into details on what I've learned about them, what I haven't been able to learn about them, and how I got to the conclusions that I did. And just as we did in the last episode, I'm going a little bit out of order, and this is because when I did my episode on my Liebesman family, I immediately went to my Leichtling branch and completely forgot about the two branches above the Liebesmans, so therefore the entire series on my family is a complete chaos, a complete jumble, just like this family tree that I recently designed for my family. So the goal of this episode is to tidy things up a little bit, bring some method to the madness, and the easiest way that you as a viewer can help me to organize my family tree would be to hit the like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you'll be notified whenever I post new episodes. So thank you so much for doing that. And today we're going to be talking about my Ames family. Now they might be pronounced Amos or Ames. I'm not entirely sure. It's quite possible that the last name comes from the Hebrew word emes, which means truth. But in all of the Austrian records that I'm going to get into, it's spelled A-M-E-S or Ames or Amos. So that's just my disclaimer at the beginning. I have no idea how to pronounce their last name. From documents from my Liebesman and Leichtling families, I had figured out that my third great-grandmother was named Sarna Bela Ames, and that she was born in a village called Majdan. Now this is really confusing because there are a ton of towns called Majdan all over Ukraine, but after looking at where the records were located, figuring out the villages and the region, it turns out that she was from the village of Majdan located in the Drohobych region of Ukraine, in the historical region of Galicia. And it wasn't so difficult to figure out who the family was because unfortunately there just aren't that many records for my Ames family. So I was able to find one brother, Hirsch-Leib Ames, who was younger than Sarna was, and he had a lot of children, some of whom I was even able to figure out who their children were, but none of them were able to be traced to the United States, which makes me think that there's a good possibility that they all remained behind in Galicia and were probably murdered in the Holocaust. But I still haven't given up hope looking for them and at least figuring out what their fates were, because there were just so many of them and they just seemed to vanish after around the 1910s or so. There is another Amos family located in a nearby village of Kropinik Novi, and I just haven't been able to figure out if this is the same family because the older records that I would need to tie this family together just aren't available. So right now it's just Sarna Bela and Hirsch-Leib, and thankfully from documents of theirs we are able to take it back one further generation to their parents, Lipa, Ames, and Etty Wechselberg. Now, some of Lipa and Etty's descendants are named after them. For instance, one of my grandfather's uncles was named Lipa Liebesman, or Lipa Leichtling. He was born, and I'm pretty sure that he is named after Lipa Ames, because it's not the most common Jewish name, but given that he was probably born in the early 1800s or late 1790s, and there aren't any documents for him available, I'm just not 100% certain when he died, but I'm pretty sure that this guy has a bunch of people named after him. Also, in the next one of these, when I talk about my Wechselberg line, there is somebody else who I think could be a brother of Sarna and Hirsch's, who may have taken on the mother's last name, but there's just not sufficient proof. But I'm going to get into some of those naming patterns and confusion when I talk about my Wechselberg line. So actually that one and this one are going to be like two peas in a pod. They both came from Majdan, and they're both lines that I know very little about, but I'm still going to try to get into it. So yeah, that is a brief summary of my Ames family from Majdan, a small village in the Drohobych region of Galicia. Very, very little that I know about them, but I think there's about a 50-50 shot of whether or not I'll ever learn anything else. it would probably take some older documents getting released that just aren't online right now on either JRI Poland or Gesher Galicia. And you never know because they are always releasing new things, and there have been times where I just think there's not going to be anything more, and then they'll just dump a whole bunch of documents. So, like I said, I'm not holding out hope on this one. I don't believe that with the currently available records, there is anything else that can be learned. But if there were to be some more, who knows? So anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Also, be sure to follow me on social media. I've included links to both my Instagram and my Twitter. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.